Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to understand about a flag register. What is a flag register and what is the purpose of a flag register? Just get into the details. Now, so far, what we have discussed about each and every register in single accumulator organization and general register organization, right? Now, let us take any organization and any CPU, right from 8085, 8086, Intel Pentium 32 architecture, Celeron processors, Celeron series, and Pentium quad-core series, I series, I1, I2, I3, I don't know, I3, I5, I7, I9, maybe the series of I, and all the other processors, such as the mobile processors such as Atom, Snapdragon, or Qualcomm, any processor what you take. In addition to those registers we discussed in the previous organizations, there will be one more register you can clearly see and observe. That is called a flag register. We just try to understand the purpose of a flag register. Let us stay focused. Okay. This is a typical 8086 flag register. Okay. This flag register is needed for every processor. Why? We discussed that, we understood so far that a program is a set of instructions. In order to execute a program, each and every instruction must be executed by the CPU, right? Now, as each and every instruction is getting executed, during the execution of this instruction, there will be an output, right? When you execute any instruction, you are going to get an output out of the instruction. Okay. Where this instruction is getting executed? Exactly in the CPU. Specifically, the operation is going to be performed in ALU, right? So now, when a program is getting executed, meaning one of its instruction is getting executed. Maybe now let us say the 23rd instruction of a program is getting executed. Okay. At the end of the 23rd instruction, if you want to know the status of a program, you need to look at the flag register. The flag register is going to give you the status of a program. It gets updated at the end of every instruction. Every instruction, let us say. Okay. Now, try to understand what is this flag register. When you execute first instruction, there will be an output from the first instruction. It is going to update these flag bits. Okay. Second instruction gets executed. Again, these flag bits will get updated. Third instruction, fourth instruction. That is, these flag bits are going to give you, as I told you already, the status of a program at the end of each and every instruction. Let us understand what is each and every flag stands for. Okay. And what is the purpose of each and every flag? Let us stay focused. Here, this is a 16-bit flag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is a 16-digit flag register. Because in 8086, the size of a register is equal to 16 digits. Okay. I'm not getting into the details because those, architectures are explained in my previous classes in terms of single accumulator organization and general list organization. I'm not getting into the details of those registers again. Now let us discuss about these flag registers. What are these flag digits? At the end of every instruction, how these are going to be updated? Here there are a few X's you can see. X, 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 and X here. That's it. Okay. Now, I do have several flags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I do have 10 flags. But there is a 16-digit register. Okay. So, some of the digits cannot be used. No flags can be here in these digits. only 10 digits are required to store my flag bits. The remaining 6 digits can be X. That is, these digits are not used for any flags. Okay, let us stay focused about the remaining digits which holds a flag value. Okay, when it is V is going to state an overflow flag. What is overflow? Let us say one instruction is executed. When one instruction gets executed, if sign of that particular variable gets reversed unnecessarily, then overflow flag is set to 1. Okay, overflow flag will be equal to 1. That means that if an overflow flag is equal to 1, that means that the output of the instruction, the output of the ALU has an unnecessary sign reversal. Okay, for an example, if you add two positive numbers, the result must be a positive number. If you add two negative numbers, the result must be a negative number, right? But when you add two positive numbers, what if the resultant value is a negative number? Due to some unavoidable consequences, we may get into this situation sometimes in the computer system. Okay, so at that time, the overflow flag bit will be set to 1. We will understand how the sign is going to be reversed accidentally in the next videos, in a few videos where we discuss about ALU operations. Okay, now overflow flag will be set to 1 whenever when the ALU operation is performed and sign of the output has a different sign than expected. Okay, if the sign is unnecessarily changed, accidentally changed for the output, then overflow flag will be set to 1. Okay, then direction flag. What is this direction flag? Try to understand. If the direction flag is equal to 0, that means that when executing the loops, you execute loops, right? The counter variable will be updated from 0 to so on. Okay, minimum to maximum. If the loop has to be repeated for 100 times, then from minimum to maximum, loop will get repeated. The direction flag 0 to 100. If the direction flag is equal to 1, then the loop will get evaluated in the reverse direction. That is from 100 to 0. Okay, so this direction flag is exclusively for loops. If the direction flag is equal to 0, that means that loop is going to be rotated in the upward direction. That is from 0 to 100. If the loop has to be repeated for 100 times, then 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 till 100, it will get calculated and counted and repeated. Okay, and if the direction flag is equal to 1, loop will be evaluated in the reverse direction, 100, 99, 98 till 0. Okay, the counter variable will get incremented during direction flag is equal to 0. The counter variable will get decremented when the direction flag is equal to 1. Then we will understand about this interrupt flag. I'm not touching this interrupt flag right now because even I give you a smallest, simplest idea, rather glimpse of an interrupt, you don't understand at this point of period. When we discuss about the interrupts, I will touch this interrupt flag. Okay, then what is a trap flag? Try to understand. Now I am executing a program. In the program, specifically one instruction is being executed. Okay, now that instruction which is being executed has an unrecoverable error, an untraceable, rather undebuggable error. Okay, for an example, you have written an instruction with an expression that is divided by 0. This instruction can never be executed by the CPU, right? Then trap flag will be equal to 1. Trap flag will be equal to 1. That is, whenever an instruction is getting executed and that instruction has a serious error which cannot be executed by the CPU, then trap flag will be set to 1. Then the CPU is going to terminate this program after this instruction. Once again, what is a trap flag? You are executing an instruction which has a serious error. This error can never be rectified, such as a divided by 0. Can CPU be able to execute divided by 0 instruction? No, it cannot, because it hasn't been defined yet. So in what way it could execute? There is no way for the CPU to execute a divided by 0 instruction. If such error occurs, trap flag will be equal to 1. Says that, Mr. CPU, you will have to terminate this program, because no longer this program can be executed any more further, because there is a serious error in the current instruction. If the current instruction cannot execute, there is no way you can execute the next instructions also, because a program is a step-by-step operation. It's a sequence of instructions. If there is an error in any of the instructions, first of all, that error must be rectified. Unless you rectify that error, this program cannot be executed at all. So when trap flag is set to 1, the program will get terminated. Sign flag. If the output of the ALU is equal to if the output of the ALU is negative, then sign flag is equal to 1. If the output of the ALU is positive, then sign flag will be equal to 0. If the output of the ALU is 0, then 0 flag is equal to 1. If the output of the ALU is a non-zero, then 0 flag will be equal to 0. That is, if the 0 flag is equal to 1, then what does it mean? The output of the ALU is 0. If the 0 flag is equal to 0, that means that ALU has some output which is not equal to 0. Okay. Auxiliary flag. What is auxiliary flag? Try to understand. Okay. Auxiliary flag will be specifically used for BCD addition. What is BCD? BCD stands for binary coded decimal. Okay. When a binary coded decimal is being executed, it will be like this. I'm going to show it here. Okay. It will be 1101, 1101, 1100, 1100. Okay. Followed by one more addition, 0011, 0011, 1100, 1111. Now, an addition is being performed in between these BCD numbers. What is a BCD? Binary coded decimal, in which the 4 digit will represent one decimal digit. 4 digit will represent one decimal digit. Okay. Now, let us stay focused. Now try to understand. These will get added. If there is a carry from these 4 digits to this next subsequent 4 digits, then auxiliary flag will be set. Okay. Either you understand BCD or not. Either you people have any idea about BCD or not. Doesn't matter. Just understand. Here, if there is a carry from the fourth bit position to the next bit position, then auxiliary flag will be set to 1. Okay. Similarly, from the 8th bit position to the next bit position, if there is a carry, auxiliary flag will be equal to 1. Again, 12th bit position to the next bit position, if there is a carry, auxiliary flag will be equal to 1. Because in a BCD numbers, 4 digits will be considered as a single unit. Okay. And this unit is being added to this unit, and there is a production of carry. If a carry has been produced, then auxiliary flag will be equal to 1. Then this 4 digit will be added to this 4 digit, because it will be treated as a single unit. Then if there is a carry produced, then auxiliary flag will be set to 1. That is, when auxiliary flag is equal to 1, that means that either from 4th bit to 5th bit, or 8th bit to 9th bit, or from 12th bit to 13th bit, there is a carry produced. That is what auxiliary flag is all about. Okay. Now we'll discuss about auxiliary flag more while we discuss about the ALU operations. Next, parity. This parity is a typical flag digit. If the parity flag is equal to 0, that means that the number of 1 digits in the output of the ALU are odd. Let us say this is the output of the ALU. Okay. some operation has been performed in the ALU. Let us say some operation has been performed. Insert shapes. Let us say consider that this is a ALU. In this ALU, some operation has been performed. The output of the ALU is this number. Okay. Now count the number of 1 digits in this ALU. Okay. Sorry, in the output of the ALU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The number of 1 digits are even, right? When the number of 1 digits are even at the output of the ALU, in the output of the ALU, then parity flag will be equal to 1. That is 1. If the number of 1 digits in the output of the ALU are odd, then parity flag will be equal to 0. Okay. Carry. What is carry? What is carry? Carry, like, there is a 16-digit number. When 16-digit number is getting added to another 16-digit number, now these two numbers are getting added. This is a 16-digit number. This is another 16-digit number. Now, when these two 16-digit numbers are getting added, if there is an end carry, then carry flag will be set to 1. Okay. Now, in order to support this end carry, the accumulator will be provided with extended accumulator. In order to support the carry, there will be extended accumulator later, which is equal to 1 bit. Okay. Try to understand. Now, if you could go back and understand single accumulator organization. Finally, the operation is being performed data register and accumulator, right? Let me show that. Try to understand. Operation is being performed in between accumulator and data register finally. Okay. The addition, when you want to perform addition, accumulator contents will get added to data register, right? But now accumulator is 16-digit. Data register is also 16-digit. When these two 16-digit values are getting added, and what if the resultant value is a 17-digit number? Then there is a problem, because accumulator is of 16-digit, data register is also of 16-digit. When there is a carry, end carry, that is a 17th digit, where we need to accommodate. Okay, for that, what we do is we're going to provide one extended accumulator. Every accumulator will be supported by something called an extended accumulator, which is called E. Okay, which is going to accommodate if at all any end carry produced by the operation of the ALU. Okay, when accumulator and data register are getting added, if the result is more than that of the 16 digits, then we do have a problem. There is a 17th digit. The 17th digit should be accommodated in extended accumulator. Okay. Yeah. When there is an end carry, that when there is an end carry, when two 16-digit numbers are added, and if the resultant is a 17-digit number, then the carry flag will be set to 1. So in order to accommodate this carry, we use extended accumulator, that is 1 digit. Because try to understand, the output will eventually get transferred to accumulator only, right? The output will eventually get transferred to the accumulator only. You remember? When you do this, at the end of each and every operation, what is getting updated? Accumulator. I'm executing what? Add 450, which means addition is going to be performed in between memory location 450 and accumulator. Finally, where it is getting located, where it is getting stored, it is getting stored in accumulator only. For that reason, we need to support the accumulator with one more additional register, which is a 1-bit register, which is extended accumulator. Okay. Finally, of course, the remaining are not used. So that means that overflow will be used. If the sign is accidentally reversed, then overflow flag will be set to 1. And in the loops, if you want to count in an upward direction from 0 to 100, then direction flag will be equal to 0. And if the direction flag is equal to 1, then it will be counted in the reverse direction. The counter variable will be decremented. Okay, interrupt I'm not touching right now. What is trap? When an instruction is being executed and there is an error in that instruction which cannot be rectified, then the trap flag will be equal to 1. What is the sign flag? The output of the ALU, if it is positive, then sign flag will be equal to 0. If it is negative, sign flag will be equal to 1. You know the sign. 1 represents negative and 0 represents positive. 0 flag means if the output of the ALU is 0, then 0 flag will be equal to 1. If the output of the ALU has some value, that means that 0 flag is equal to 0. Auxiliary flag, I mean, when you perform a BCD addition, from the 4th digit to the 5th digit, if there is a carry, there will be auxiliary flag set. Parity flag meaning output of the ALU is going to count the number of ones in the output of the ALU. If that is even, then parity flag is equal to 0. If that is equal to 1, then, if that is odd, the parity flag will be equal to 1. Okay, rather, I think it is the reverse direction, I told. If the number of ones in the output of the ALU are odd, then parity flag is equal to 0. And the number of ones in the output of the ALU are even, then the parity flag will be equal to 1. Simple. Carry is when two 16-digit numbers are added, and if the resultant is a 17-digit number, then carry flag will be set to 1. There is a final carry, end carry. In order to accommodate this end carry, we are going to provide an extended accumulator, which is a 1-bit register, because finally every value should be transferred to the accumulator. This is all about a flag register.